Hello, this is Terry Riley with another episode of Realms of Wicca. Well, with us today, I have two gentlemen from the UK. They've been visiting the Southern Dutch Church of Wicca for the past few weeks, and I wanted to get their impression of what they do over in the UK as far as their practices of Wicca. So I have with me today Humphrey Clements.
Hello.
And Liam Kimball Young. Like I said, they've been visiting here the church for the past few weeks. They've been to a couple of our rituals, been to our New Year's Eve party. And first thing I want to talk to you about today, Humphrey, is I believe you and Liam are both enrolled in the Order of Bards, Oberts and Druids in Sussex, England.
Yep, that's right. They have a correspondence course that you do. And they have two versions of it. They either have a print version or an audio version, and us being blind, we use the audio version. And it's well set. It's well set up. It's very interesting. You learn a lot, and yeah, it's a good course.
Liam, do you or y'all when you do your private practice and stuff, do you follow the rituals of the OD, or do you do your own?
Usually sort of follow the OBOD, but I guess me personally, I'm a little less Wiccan in that respect.
No, really?
I mean, I used some of the Wiccan tools, so the wand, the athame, the cauldron.
Right.
But I guess you could say I'm perhaps a little bit more shamanic in my practice. More just going on intuition, free spirit, free spirit, just what feels right at the time.
Oh, okay.
Rather than say sticking to more of a ritualized script,
right,
as it were.
Now, where exactly do y'all live in UK?
About 5 minutes away from each other.
Yeah.
I mean, what town do you live in?
In a town.
We live in a town called Leominster, which is about 12 miles away from Herefordshire.
Yeah,
Hereford,
well,
which is obviously in Herefordshire.
With us that don't know the geography, about how far are you from, say, from London?
3 hours or so.
3 hour drive,
Yeah.
something like that? Okay, all right.
We're kind of in the, southwest.
No, okay. And y'all are primarily solitary practitioners?
Yeah.
Okay, you don't belong to any groups or anything
Well,
other than the OBOD?
we're part of a Druid seed group.
Druid seed group?
Seed group, yeah. It's what in the OBOD course.
Yeah.
You can join or set up a seed group, which is basically like a Wiccan coven.
Oh, okay. So they where you gather on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember you said that you were you gather with this group of people when you do the sabbats or maybe some moons or something like that.
Yeah, we do the holidays, the sabbats, and then every month we have a meeting where we don't do any magic or anything, but we just do a bit of a meditation, have a chat about something spiritual, coffee and biscuits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now another aspect I want to talk to you about is you're both blind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I want to delve into that if you don't mind talking about how much different is it. I'm speaking from a sighted person's point of view. Okay. So just for our viewers, how much different is it in performing magic the way y'all perceive it, say from a sighted person's perception as far as imagery, energy work? I mean, like Humphrey, when you do a basic spell or something like that, what is it you basically do?
Well, do you want me to basically go into the full process that I use?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Speak up a little bit.
Okay. Let me set up. There we go.
Yeah.
Well, basically, I would start off by calling to the spirit's place, just of the area where I'm working, whether that's at my altar, in the middle of a forest, or someone's garden, or wherever I happen to be doing what I'm doing, and just asking their permission. Then I will light incense. I rarely use candles, which will probably shock some people, but because I know candle magic is very popular in Wicca, I will if I'm using the element of fire as a particular aspect of the spell, but I find, to me, just having too many hot things on the altar
So let me delve into that. In most of the Wiccan books they have out there and everything, it's talking about candle magic. You use the appropriate colored candle for the intention and stuff. But you've been blind since birth, right?
Yep.
And you don't really see colors.
No.
So that wouldn't work for you.
No.
Okay. And staring into the candle flame to see the aura and stuff, that don't really work for you.
No.
So how would you, what's a candle, how does a candle really work for you? Or just the element of fire?
I use it as, if it's a spell I want to have done quickly, if it's something I need to be done fast, I just use the energy of fire, hence the candle. I just use a white, tea light.
Right.
And I just use that energy. I light it, but I use its energy, whereas most of the time I will use just incense. But I'm very selective as what incense I'm using. So if I'm doing a protection spell,
Right.
For my home or for another person, I will say use sage, or if I really want to ramp it up, I'll use dragon's blood, because that's powerful stuff. Whereas, say if I want a peace spell, I'll use lavender or violet,
Right.
Or frankincense.
Ah.
It's just dependent on what I'm doing. So I light the incense and occasionally the candle, depending on what I'm
Right.
doing. I will then, generally, to purify the circle, because it's just what I personally do. I ring a Tibetan bowl, the singing bowls.
Oh, the singing bowl.
Yeah, because what that does, I've noticed, is just clears away any negativity very fast. Has a very pure, soothing sound to it. Helps you get into that state where of sort of peace, where you need to be. Occasionally, if I'm working with Konunos is one of my patron deities.
Right.
So
The born god of the hunt. Yeah.
if I want to work with him, what I might well also do is get my Google Home to play me the sound of the forest.
Being a sighted person, and when you mention the incense, that's more into aromatherapy, correct?
But incense, when you're blind,
Yeah.
does even more for you, because to me it's the fire and air elements combined. So that's why I don't need the candle, because I've got the fire. I've got the fire in the incense.
Oh, okay.
Then I will cast my circle. So usually with an athame, sometimes with a wand.
Yeah.
And then when I'm calling quarters, I hold a wand up at each direction. My altar's in the north, so that's how I know where I am, because I literally did check it with my iPhone compass. And the spell that I've got to do, or ritual, or sabbat, whatever I'm celebrating, and then it's just a reverse of all of that. And then I will sound the bowl again, just to rebalance the energy after the ritual, because when I do my rituals, I do them in my living room.
Right.
So I find if I don't rebalance the energy with the bowl, it makes my living room very heady, and when I've got to cook supper or do whatever, my brain's just like, don't know what to do.
So you did the second time more as a grounding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I have to ground the energy of the room, otherwise it's just like up in the clouds, which is a nice feeling, but not when you're trying to cook.
Right. Let me interrupt one. Liam, I think you were both massage therapists.
Yeah, that's our primary kind of field that we're sort of both we've both worked in. We've
you
got degrees in.
In the conversation that we've had since the boys have been here, is that you're both primarily on the path of healers.
Yeah.
And you use the the massage is a form of the, you know, obviously not just a physical form of healing, but also as a spiritual form. Could you go into that a little bit more, Liam, and explain how that actually works?
Well, when you do anything on the physical, you're then also working with the spiritual and mental and emotional as well. So whatever you do on the physical will then manifest in the spiritual and vice versa.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been into Reiki since I was 13, so it's kind of.
Oh, you've been through all the Reiki initiations and
Yeah.
everything? Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. I got my 3rd degree when I was 21, 22.
Right.
So, yeah, I've been doing it for a fair while. And again, I see kind of aromatherapy as almost like quantum alchemy, really, because you're dealing with such small quantities of physical oils and matter,
Right.
and then also that then manifests as well in the quantum and on the energetic level as well. So you know that has a profound effect on people and yourself, and you can link that into healing basically.
Okay, now, I got a question for you, Liam, because you brought that up. I studied in my younger days under chiropractors, okay, and what they taught me is that a chiropractor works with the innate intelligence inside the body.
Yep.
So when they do the laying on of hands, they're actually getting a direct communication with the body itself and not so much the conscious mind. They're merely, basically tapping into the subconscious way. Is that the same thing that you're talking about that you do in a massage and stuff like that in your healing, or?
Yes and no. I mean, it's both really. Primarily, chiropractors work on purely on the physical.
Right.
Same with osteopathy.
Right.
Whereas massage, yes, mainly does deal with the physical, but with other such modalities as Reiki, shamanic healing,
Right.
that kind of thing, then you then can tap into the other world and the other realms, the other planes, and that's obviously then where you tap into the more etheric part of the conscious being.
Yeah, well, correct me if I'm wrong. What you're basically saying is once you start the massage, you know the physical aspect, you know where the muscles are, you had to study anatomy and all that stuff, and you know what you got to do in the physical, but do you get like intuitive stuff that figure out other things that's wrong with the body in that aspect? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, sometimes it's not always the case.
Right.
But then again, it depends on the client. It depends on what they it depends on what they want, and end of the day, client knows best. They're coming to you for treatment. So if they want treatment for relaxation, you give them treatment for relaxation. If they want deeper, then you do deeper.
Right.
Or unless it again intuitively comes to you and you go, okay, they need this, and you just do it. And again, you don't always tell the client what you're doing, because that can also have a negative effect on the overall treatment. So
because you have to pass through the conscious mind, and that's judgment area. I understand that.
So it's just a matter of what feels right, what feels appropriate.
Right.
All the while whilst being professional, of course, and not breaching any boundaries.
Okay.
And then of course, being therapists, you are in effect bona fide counsellors as well.
Right.
So you could deal with anything potentially.
Okay.
So
I got one other question for you. You've been here now about going on 2 weeks. This is Liam, I think you've been to the United States before. This is Humphrey. This is your first time ever being here.
That's right.
Across the pond, so to speak. So, in staying here at the church, which we I guess you've already realized we have a lot of activity on a daily basis here. Has it been how much different is it being in the environment of a working church compared to where your solitary practice is? Is it taking some adjustment, or do you like what you've experienced so far? I mean, what's going on?
For me,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a solitary, and that's how I practice. But I actually, for me, I find it quite good, because sometimes my mind tends to go, as the monkey mind does, it interferes, and stuff like that. And if you're working with others,
Right.
it keeps that focus. It keeps you. I mean, mine's not too bad, but sometimes I'll be doing a spell or something, and my mind will go, what's this?
Yeah.
As our minds are wont to
Yeah,
do.
right.
Whereas here, I feel I'm able, because there's so much energy, there's so much concentrated energy, it sort of naturally filters out the monkey mind doing its.
Well, yeah, you ain't got time to think inwardly a whole lot. Is that what you're saying? There's a lot of stuff. Actually, we have people coming in and out of the church all the time, counseling classes and stuff like that.
But I get on quite well with that. I mean,
Yeah.
I can be quite a solitary person, but then the way I sort of work with that is I just go outside, have 5 minutes in the fresh air.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Easy.
We have been described over the years here, because we're in the South, we're in Arkansas, which is in the South of the United States, Southern history and Southern heritage and stuff. And we have been looked at upon and classified as redneck Pentecostal Wiccans. We do a lot of high energy, a lot of drumming, a lot of hooping and hollering. Is that something, Liam, that was that something new to you? Was that you are, over in the UK and your experiences over there? How different is that?
I'd say for the most part, yeah. What we've done is more, I wouldn't say subdued, but more kind of low key.
Low key, yeah.
The drumming, obviously, I can see from a more shamanic point of view.
Right.
But yeah, I'd say on the whole, we tend to do well. Again, at least in druidic ceremonies or rituals, it's more low key. I'd say. Yeah. That's again more.
But now, earlier today, you were talking that you don't really like what they call it, like a Catholic mass where everything's scripted out, or or ceremonial magic where you're kind of like on the spur of the moment, what feels right to you at that moment. I believe is what you was telling me.
Yeah. Again, more of a intuitive approach, and
but you don't want to be doing cartwheels and stuff when you get excited. I'm not saying that you can't. I'm just saying that you just don't feel like it when you're doing your ritual.
No. I'm more just to the point, get it done. What he's doing, do it. Done. So,
okay. Yeah. Something you want to add to that, Humphrey?
Well, it's interesting because for me, I'm actually a bit of both. I am very much the intuitive. I like to do things, but what I like to do is I like to have a bit more of a formula for the start and end of my rituals.
Oh, yeah.
But then the body, the middle bit, I like to do intuitively. I like a bit of both.
Right.
I'm very much. I don't like it too scripted, but I like a loose script.
As we said, kind of both our sort of training is sort of druidic. Of course, you've got the foundation of the Wiccan approach. Mainly, I would say the one thing about druidic ritual compared to say Wiccan is that ability to kind of go with the flow a bit more,
right?
And to kind of go with what feels right, and if you want to be scripted, you can.
Right.
There's nothing saying you can't.
Right.
I think that's one of the main things that drew me more towards Druidry, say, rather than Wicca, was that kind of ability and I suppose freedom of choice to go. Yeah, we can be scripted, or we don't have to be.
Right.
And it's up to the individual, and that's what I like about Druidry. It is a very individualistic path.
Right. Not staunch, full of doctrine.
No.
Yeah.
No, and there's no dogma, and
no dogma.
You can choose to revere or follow what deity you want, and you can choose to discard things again in the OBOD course that don't feel right or don't suit you. So that's the one thing I do like about Obod is the ability to pick and choose what feels right for you and what works with you and what doesn't. Plus then having the kind of Jungian approach to sort of psychotherapy, and that then being added into the Druidic path, and having that form of, I suppose, academia and more sort of academic side works for me quite well.
Now I know that both of y'all, I say y'all, both of you gentlemen, are very much into Philip Carr Grome's concept of druidcraft.
Yeah, I'm particularly into it because for me, Druidry offers a lot, but it doesn't, for me personally, and it's a very personal view, it doesn't delve into magic enough for me. And I like magic. I find magic incredibly powerful, very useful in my life. So I've often identified to other pagans as a sort of, I identify myself as a druid witch because I practice both. I would describe myself as working with the practice of druid craft, which is druidry and Wicca. I take what feels right to me from both paths and combine them.
Bear in mind though, we've not actually completed the full Obod course yet.
You're at the bard level of the course.
Yeah. So there's obviously a lot I feel that we will come across in Ovate that will open up the more of the magical realm in that sense. So there's probably things that Druidry does delve into magically that we've not obviously come across yet.
I know the Obid stage is more of the
inner
magic
level,
working, the divination, and into that aspect. Now Philip Carr Grome, I believe, and you also correct me if I'm wrong, in his book Druidcraft, his theory was that Druidry in the Celtic society were like the priesthood, the Celtic priesthood to the people. And it took 20 years to be a druid, to become a druid and go through the training. But when the Roman and Christians came into play in the British Isles, they came in and destroyed the Druidic colleges and stuff, and Druids had to go underground or this, that, and the other. And at that point, there were some at the Obid stage of the training in Druidry that hadn't completely completed the Druidic training to call themselves Druids. They basically became the priest of the people, but they couldn't call themselves a druid, so the people just called them the wise ones. They were the diviners, the counselors, stuff. And basically, according to Philip Carr Grome, according to his theory, is that Wicca, or the modern religion of Wicca, and some of the ancient practices of witchcraft came out of the second level druids during that time frame. Would that be correct?
Yeah.
I believe so. I mean, also to a degree, though, the Romans did actually, because there was a lot of, people think that the Romans destroyed sort of druidry, but they did actually call upon druids to, counsel them as well. So I think it wasn't the Romans that destroyed or stamped out a lot of the druidic practice. It was more the Christian
Yeah, you have all the stories of St. Patrick and battling, the druids and stuff in that time frame.
What's wonderfully ironic is St. Patrick didn't much care for druidry, and yet he had the Brehon laws of Ireland, which are far more merciful on people and far more equality based, written down. Because the difference is Christian law states, a woman couldn't divorce her husband, whereas the Brehon laws said if her husband mistreats her, or if he can't give her children, or there were other things as well that I can't remember. They basically said that if husband's doing her wrong, she has a perfect right to leave him and get someone new. And there's a lot more, because they were based on atonement rather than the harsher laws that came from the Roman Empire. You did a wrong, you die for it. You atoned for it instead in the Brehon laws.
So that was kind of going down sort of the more Catholic route then.
Okay. Well, I think we're about to run out of time, so I appreciate y'all coming over and doing the video for us and talking to us and getting us some different perceptions and stuff to some of our viewers out there. So, Liam, Humphrey, you have your hand here. You handshake. There you go. All right. Appreciate y'all, and that does it for this episode of Realms of Wicca. Until next time, blessed be.